Now we go. Welcome in, Cowboys Nation, to Game Day Live halftime show. And I'm going to be honest with you, I'm pissed off right now. Pretty upset. Cowboys down 20-17 in what is a one word that I could just describe it as pathetic first half by both the offense and the defense. Jesse, the Houston Texans quarterbacks are 11 for 13 for 126. Your offense, for whatever reason, decided to abandon the run with 11 attempts and 23 passing attempts, including an interception and some inaccurate balls from Dak Prescott. And the offense is just looking putrid, to say the least. Drop touchdown pass, which leads to Terrence Steele being hurt. We'll have to keep an eye out on that. But it's a very, very frustrating first half. And now you're down to the worst team in National Football League.
Pathetic, embarrassing. My saving grace on me not being as pissed off as you is that this team has shown to be a better second half team. So I'm putting my hat on that. But what you've seen in the first half is just a continuation of who the Cowboys have been a lot this year. Starting out slow. I know they had a really good opening drive, but after that, not much. Turnovers. The Cavante Turpin.
That changed the whole game, man.
That, you know, and those are the things that you don't account for in football games that come about that can change the outlook of a football game. Then you have the Dak Prescott, what seems to be, you know, this is become a pattern for him. You know, throwing an interception
in second quarter.
In the second quarter, he has 8 of them this season, and seven of his 8 interceptions have come in the second quarter. But, you know, you talked about it in the pregame show. It's Kellen Moore. Don't come out glitching. Don't come out glitching. Don't come out and changing what works for you. And they've abandoned the run and went back to trying to pass the game much more. And we said it over and over and over and over again. Now, I still believe the cream is going to rise to the top. But the Cowboys are building these ugly habits. Penalties, turnovers, slow starts, poor play. And they keep building these habits and and eventually it's gonna bite you in the butt. It's gonna bite you in the butt.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. You know, you're gonna go click the switch one day and it's not gonna turn on. That's just the nature of the beast. And so until they find out, and this is why the outside world and a lot of the people who are against the Cowboys or who don't have faith in the Cowboys, and at times I'm one of them, who can't take them at times to be a serious Super Bowl contender, because you're literally losing at halftime to the worst team in the National Football League, right? And then of course you're peeking over and you're saying, oh, look at the Eagles, they're dog walking the New York Football Giants, like dog walking them, and we're struggling with the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans we're struggling with, and we're down 3 points at halftime. So, I mean, the Cowboys seem to find themselves in a situation week in and week out against teams that are less than they are. Again, my only saving grace is that this team is shown to be a second half program, and so hopefully that clicks on today, and we're not having a different conversation come post game.
I want to say it will, you know, because this is a bad team, but the problem is this bad team, like I tweeted out, when you make mistakes and then you're not overcoming those mistakes on either side of the ball, you're giving them confidence now. Now, you know, I think unlike the Colts game last week where I believe you were up at halftime, now you're down. So now it's not like, oh, we're 7 points within this team. We can go out. We can do it. It's, we're 11 for 13 passing the ball. Jeff Driscoll running around, making plays. They don't care that they can't run the rock. Running the rock is just to keep them on schedule, right? They just want to be in 3rd and 5s, 3rd and 4s, 3rd and 6s, and get to a 3rd and manageable spot. And your defense is letting them just move down the field. 40 seconds left against Davis Mills and Jeff Driscoll. You would think, okay, let me go ahead and hold them to a field goal. Or not to a field goal. Hold them, and you go into this halftime tied up. Now you're going down 3 from the Texans. I feel like I can come out here and win this game. Unlike the last few weeks against bad teams, or last week against a bad team where you won out and you scored to end the half. You had an opportunity to do that. After a terrible start, you drop a touchdown pass, and the next possession or the next play, Terrence Steele goes down, which I'm still trying to figure out what's up with that. It looked bad. Now you're out there with Josh Ball. It's just it's just frustrating because it's not like, yes, the mistakes have kept them in the game, right? But these are mistakes that you're making on your own. You know what I
Right.
mean? And then when they do get the rock, they're actually having success. So it's compounded. They're actually doing good things and you're doing bad things. That's the frustrating part about this first half. It's not like, if we just not throw an interception or you know what I'm saying, if we just not give up a sack or we just not drop a ball. No, you're playing bad and they're playing good. Not a good combination. And again, Jesse, I'm with you. I think they'll go out in the second half and win the game, but it's frustrating. Put it that way. I would just use that clean word. Frustrating.
You're absolutely right. And where's Michael Parsons? Where is Tank? Where are the guys who we thought was going to be able to dominate this football game? That was going to be able to get after this quarterback. That those last couple drives, Davis Mills looked pretty comfortable in the pocket. He didn't look like he was being hurried. He didn't look like he was being
It's
pressured.
9 for 11. No
He looked
sacks.
pretty comfortable in the pocket. And I don't. Again, maybe it's the noon game and they're sleepwalking or whatever it is, but they look that they don't have a sense of urgency. And again, that's one of those things where it's just
And it's weird
we're seeing this
because
far too long.
we wanted to see them come out early, right? In the first 15. Well, the first 7 or whatever the plays were fine. It looked like they had a groove, although there was a little bit more throw in there at the beginning than I expected. But whatever, they got out and they were moving, they were grooving, and they got the touchdown. And then it was the exact opposite of what has been happening. Normally, they'd come out, they really wouldn't score first like this, and then they'd start turning it on. They scored first and turned it off.
Right.
That's pretty much what has happened. They have turned it off after they scored their first. The first possession was the best possession. The rest of this, really, in my opinion, has been sloppy football from the Cowboys offense and Dak Prescott.
Yeah, we shoot ourselves in the foot. We constantly get in our way. Um, and I think you made a great point. The Texans, with their opportunities, they're playing really well
They're
with their
playing well.
opportunities, and the Cowboys aren't. Drops, interceptions, missed throws, missed blocks. And again, you're giving this team confidence. You look at one of the safeties, Petrie. Before the half, he's pointing to the sideline and he's telling you like, "Hey, I'm gonna get one. I'm coming. Like you keep trying to throw that. So like we don't want to give those dudes that kind of confidence. We don't want to give those guys that
No.
kind of confidence. And the issue now is I don't know what's wrong with Terrence Steele, but now you got to put Josh Ball out there,
Yep.
and we've known that Josh Ball in the past have been basically a turnstile. Open the door, come on in. And now that factor has to go in the back of the minds of Dak Prescott is, are they going to bring pressure off that side to be able to create some disturbance for Dak
Mm.
Prescott throwing in the pocket. Uh, and every time you constantly be in these games and it's not going so well, this is the National Football League and things like Diggs left the field with the hand injury. We don't know what that was, but he came back in. But there's another situation where that can happen to someone else. So you start playing with your food, man, bad things can happen to you as a football team, as players. And so keep a lookout on what Josh Ball is going to be able to do at that right tackle position and how much that's going to affect what the Cowboys want to do. Because a lot of, especially with Tony Pollard running off that right side, they've had a lot of
Yeah.
success over there doing that. And a lot of it had to do with the combination of Zach Martin and Terrence Steele. And now with him not being there, that
Uh,
that
uh,
changes the dynamic a lot.
Update: he's unlikely to return to the game. I mean, that's just what I'm seeing right now after the injury to the knee. So looks like it's going to be Josh Ball for the remainder of the game. So again, kind of compounds the situation where last week you didn't have any injuries going into the second half and you came out and put it on them. This week, bit different story. They're playing well and you're dealing with injuries. So I mean, I always ask this question going into the halftime: what do you want him to see? I want him to see him fix everything. I mean, there's not just one thing that's going wrong here. I mean, you're not stopping them offensively. You're not having a clean game. I'm sorry, you're not stopping their offense and the offense on your side. You're not having a clean game. Your special teams has been poor. Everything has been pretty damn bad right now. So they need to just fix it all, Jesse, and get out of here with this dub.
They got to fix it. And I know for a fact in the locker room, when you walk in the Cowboys locker room, when you walk in, offenses to the left, defenses to the right, but the bathroom is straight ahead, and there is a floor to ceiling, well, floor to top of the sink mirrors that run across the backside of that bathroom. And the Cowboys each individually have to walk into that bathroom and look themselves in the mirror and say, what are we going to do? What are we going to do from here? Because this is unacceptable. And I get that you're a second half team, but one of these days you're going to walk in this locker room and you're going to be walking against a really good football team, and that second half is not going to work for you. So you need to get out of that habit. But they need to go and check themselves. Go and look into the mirror and say, what is happening? We're at home against a team that's 1-10-1, the 32nd ranked team in the National Football League, and we're down. We're down. Whoever the leaders are, Jaron Curse, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, Micah Parsons, Tank Lawrence, whoever the leaders are. You don't have to do it by screaming and hollering and cussing, but you need to get it going. You need to get it going now.
Now,
This has got to stop. These slow starts, these penalties, these unnecessary turnovers, they have got to stop, because this is becoming a habit. This is really becoming a habit, and you can almost pencil it in every single week that it's going to happen at some point in time, especially in the first half, and you find yourself now in a boxing match, a brawl with the Houston Texans.
it's a scary thing. It's going to happen. You can pencil in. You can't do that, man. This is a bad team right here. You're going to play better ones. But all right, Cowboys Nation, we will see you guys at post game show. We out here. Peace.